Second verse, same as the first. Tetsuya Mizuguchi. You may not heard his name, but you've probably played his games. He joined Sega as a young art hoe, making a name for himself working on what else but racing games, until he could earn true creative freedom. The Gooch always had this idea of a game where the player was a part of the music instead of it being fed to you. The idea he had in mind, however, went beyond the standard rhythm game. He thought that the interactive medium of games allowed for something more than a glorified game of Simon or banging on some drums like a spastic. And he was also fortunate enough to be in the middle of the creative boom that was leading Sega during its twilight years, working closely with names like Yuji Saito, Masayoshi Kikuchi, and Kenji Eno. People who left their mark on the Dreamcast one way or another. Space Channel 5 was a solid groundwork for this concept, but it wasn't enough for him. He wanted his team to once again apply the philosophy of music into game design, and create something more immersive, impactful, and emotional that would reach out to the player's senses. The end product being 2001's hi-rez. In the beginning, there is nothing but silence. You shoot down a few targets approaching you. This causes a soft ripple of sound with each successful hit that over time becomes more pronounced. hi-rez isn't a rhythm game despite what mongs on the internet would like you to believe. A brief description would be Panzer Fox, but an apter one would be a musical, except less gay and more ambiguously gay. The music is synchronized with the player's actions as you shoot your way from segment to segment, building each track like layers in a mixing software. The Hakaruman setting serves as a bridge for the visual Y2K aesthetic, with a sleek lo-fi look consisting of wireframe graphics coated in fragmented textures, notes of codes, and all sorts of computer-flavored text nestled in between a series of chasms in a black, never-ending void. At the core of hi-rez's design principles lies the concept of synesthesia, an uncommon genetic condition in where the person afflicted can perceive sensory stimuli in many different ways simultaneously. hi-rez, and to extent most of Gooch's games, set out to emulate this exact feeling of sensorial harmony, with it focusing on creating an infectious audio-visual experience, if you take the vibrator out of the mix.
Guys, if you want to get your girlfriend into gaming, all you have to do is import this thing from Japan.
Just pop in a copy of hi-rez for your PS2 and pop this thing on your Panda and BAM! You are enjoying some trance vibrations.
Stages are purposely organized like tracks in an album, an ambitious collab between an all-star team of EDM artists both renowned and underground. Each area portrays a different flavor of dance, ranging from house, rock, and even trance, with environments reflecting each track's vibe, using close attention to detail to make its world feel alive. Okay, I'll stop. Anyone unfamiliar with hi-rez should go play it before watching this video, as any audio-visual spoilers will ruin any of the magic. Your first time should never be with me. Also, get some bass-heavy headphones instead of those faggot-ass AirPods. As mentioned before, the presentation is the gameplay for the most part. The entrancing synchronicity of it all stemming from the Gooch's time playing arcade shooters, where he developed a strong association with the music and the gameplay. I honestly don't know what kind of bullshit magic they use because they nailed this exact feeling perfectly. Surfing through the sound waves fills you with exhilaration as you're fully absorbed into a sense of bliss by the mesmerizing display of vibrant colors and effects. You instantly develop an emotional bond with the soundtrack as it takes you on a surreal trip. And just when you think you're at the climax, the music keeps escalating, never letting up. It's like the kind of post-orgasm torture that doesn't hit you with immediate regret. Area 5 is an absolute highlight of everything mentioned prior, arguably what put this game on the map for many. It's a strong contrast to the other stages, with a white and barren wasteland void of any activity. Each transition poetically waxes about the creation of life, while the harsh synthetic beats rain down on you. You feel the tensions start to crawl all over you, as the sinister bass and haptic drums kick in, and with a swift hand the game pulls your pants down and yanks your balls. pacing, structure, and skill of it all is too poignant for my inbred IQ to describe. I vividly remember reaching this segment for the first time in an acid-induced haze, and it was like every single jaded pretense I had about video games deleted itself right in front of my eyes. My mouth was drooling and my dick was throbbing as my ears melted into a puddle of vibrations, although that might have been from a different kind of sounding game. Regardless, Deguchi's res is still better than sex. Shame that they both end with a flat fucking climax that leaves you wanting more. Another thing in common is compatibility with VR headsets. My first time playing Rez was with two LCD screens taped to my eyes, and you really can't go back to 2D after trying it out. VR ports of standard games have failed to create any real change other than motion sickness time and time again. Rez, on the other hand, feels like it was made from the ground up for VR, enhancing the original tenfold. Every jolt of speed feels real. Looking up and down and all around gives you a true sense of presence and overall depth. Even changing the way bosses work in such a natural way that it makes me think if the team were all gifted with clairvoyance. It all finally clicks together when finding out that Mizuguchi himself has always had a sick fetish for everything VR, going as far as developing prototypes of VR headsets for Sega during his early years. This footage is giving me motion sickness while editing, so I'm just gonna wrap up by imploring you to try this shit out in VR at least once in your life. It's better than giving Todd any more of your money. Walking away from Rez, the closest feeling I could relate to it was an experience similar to catching a cool MTV music video late at night and then never seeing it again. It's colorfully surreal, vibrant yet moody, and you can't help but feel mesmerized by just how unique it is, as you've never seen anything like it. You vividly remember the music and how it made you feel, the constant chills down your spine and the sheer sense of elation as all the sounds intertwine into perfect harmony. Over time, the visuals start getting blurrier and fragment more and more until you're left with a bold outline where you're left to fill in the blanks. Despite this, it still sticks with you all these years later, and nothing you've seen or heard has ever come close to matching the same vibe. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now go play Rez, you uncultured pig. Oh my god, they made a vibrator suit.